All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. I gotta do my whole little promo. I'm sorry. You know something about
Hey,
promos,
do it, man. Promos are great.
man. We'll definitely talk about that very soon. Ladies and gentlemen, actor, wrestler, stunt performer, father, dog father as well, man. All that and more. Ladies and gentlemen, the man, the myth, the legend is here in the building on Just Acting Up Show. Stop. Well,
That might be the greatest introduction I've ever gotten for for anything. So you nailed that one.
man.
Thanks for having me. I've been looking forward to this ever since you sent me the email. This should be great. I don't get
Man,
to do a lot of these things, so I'm really looking forward to this. Yeah, so
oh
got a
man,
lot to say.
oh, it's just an honor just to have you on here, man. And like I said, I've been keeping an eye on things that you've been doing for a while, and I was like, man, it'll be great to, but you know how it is, trying to find the right spot and time and everything. So just thank you for saying yes and coming on the show, man. Thank you.
The stars have aligned. We're
Yes.
here.
Oh,
We got it.
finally,
Yeah, thanks for having
finally.
me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, before I actually know where you are originally from. I got to say, now, is it you have a newborn? Is that correct? Or
Yeah, 3 months old. He almost made me late for the show. I was just going back and forth with my wife about how it's always the dog or the newborn right before anytime we have something coming up, it's like he wouldn't eat. He wouldn't eat it. I was feeding him his bottle. I was like, we're getting about 5 minutes to go here. So, and he still had an ounce left in his bottle. So, but we got
oh
it
boy,
done, and here I am, right on time.
man!
Oh
Congrats.
goodness,
Daddy.
congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thanks. That's it's a blessing. It truly is.
It is
Amen.
definitely. We're all
Amen.
parents, and it's like,
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you guys
when
have
you when you
kids.
when you have when you have that first baby, and then when you get to like number 3 and 4, it's so different.
Yeah, this is several for me. This is just my first with my wife, so I've got
Yes.
a couple others out
Oh
there.
Man,
man, it's just a blessing, and it's just amazing.
Yep,
man.
it is. It is the best thing, the best thing life has to offer, in my opinion. So
Yes, sir.
being a parent, so
Yes,
to
sir,
get to
man.
experience it.
I agree. I agree. Real quick, do you make quick dog and baby videos with them yet, or do you like just let randomness
So,
go and just
hey man, the baby just had his first ever audition the other day. We had I did a commercial audition for I did it by myself for a dad. And,
hmm
the casting director emailed me back that she liked what I did, and she said, "We really like to cast a real family for us if you've got a family." I said, "I got a wife and a baby." She said, "Bring it on. Give us the tape." So I recorded a
nice.
quick audition with her, and of course, she's never done anything other than read for me for my
Mm,
auditions. She's been my
Yes.
sure.
reader. But the baby, he obviously couldn't talk. I mean, he oohed and ahed a couple times, but he said his piece in there, but it was just us holding him and we split the line. She did really well, so I was very proud of her for her
No,
first time on camera. So I think we did well. We'll see. It's a
yeah,
pretty lucrative gig, so the
yeah.
baby's gonna end up being a star before his daddy is.
That's
Possible.
funny.
He is super cute. Like he's a very very Gerberish baby.
Oh yeah. Oh, even better. Even better. Like, man, that is so cool. So Scott, man, I know we can talk about the kids and the dogs and the wife and the marriage, and of course we're here, to talk about the project you've been on, and we'll get to that. But we want to know you and highlight you first. Of course, we get to know who Scott Fowler is. So first and
Mhm.
foremost, good sir, where are you from, man?
So I'm born and raised in Frederick, Maryland. I've
Mm,
lived here most of my life. I'm in the kind of the woods area here, and that has nothing to do with my accent, by the way. My mom's from the South, so uh, I get
God,
that a little bit from her. I have like the weirdest accent ever. It's not really like super Southern, but there's definitely a twang there, and it's like
yeah,
I don't
little,
know. It's I'm sure it's cost me some auditions, but it's also got me some too. So it is what it is. Um,
yeah.
But yeah, I'm born and raised Frederick. I lived in Germany for a few years, but other than that, I've been mostly in the Maryland D.C. area. I like to say Washington D.C. just because that's where everybody, that's the big area around here. And I'm
Mhm.
more of
Yeah,
a DC guy than a Baltimore guy, so I leave Baltimore out. I just say DC.
gotcha. And
No
no,
hate
no,
on Baltimore. Nothing
yeah,
wrong with it. I like the Orioles too, but I tend to a lot of my luck, my good luck has come in DC, so I claim DC.
there you
So
go. Go where the luck is known and proven, man. Yes, sir.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
no
And like you
doubt.
said, yeah, no shade towards Baltimore as well. Like I was just about to say that as well too.
No
I
shade.
have an Orioles hat. I've got an Orioles shirt and an Orioles hat too, so I go to Orioles games. So I'm
There you
uh
go.
I'm a big baseball guy, so I'm sure we'll get
Me
into that a little bit
too.
too.
I love
You're
baseball.
into you're into
I
baseball,
love it.
Shay?
I do. I do. I felt like a traitor this year because
Yeah, where
I
are you
really
guys
didn't
at?
make it to any Astros games, but I did go and see the Texas Rangers play the Yankees, but they was playing the Yankees, so I was really going to see them.
Mm.
No, are you from New York originally?
No, I'm not. I'm from
Yeah,
Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, we're all in
Houston.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're in Texas. Yeah,
gotcha. But you're a
yeah.
Yankees fan or you're an
No, I'm an
Astros fan.
Astros fan, but I also love. I mean, if you love baseball, you're gonna want to see a Yankees game here or there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Where I did Godfather of Harlem, which I'm sure we're gonna get into in a little bit here. That was my hotel was right next to Yankee Stadium. Like I was right
Wow.
next to it. I was like, man, I gotta get to a game while I'm out here, and I
Oh yeah,
didn't. But
yeah.
it's too busy. Yeah,
Ah,
Mhm.
Yankee Stadium, you got to get out there. It's one of the best for sure.
That's definitely on my list of things to do. I've
Ooh,
been to the Dodger Stadium, which was amazing.
mm.
But I definitely wanna. That's definitely on the list.
about that World Series game one. That was some
Woo.
fire last night, man.
Yes, yes.
Did you guys watch it? I mean,
Yeah,
that was explosive.
It is always
definitely
You
like
was.
can't
that.
beat that ending, man.
Yeah,
A grand slam in the bottom of the 10th. Come on.
yeah. The World Series
It doesn't
always
get
like
any
that.
better
Yeah,
than that.
yeah. I still,
Storybook stuff.
man. I'm telling you. So, but yeah. So
Unbelievable.
yes, sir, man. And I definitely need to get. I was like, I missed the Astros wave this year, so I'm definitely next year. I'll be going. And I have not been to a World Series. Thank you, Scott. Just reminded me, I have not been to a World Series yet. So yeah, I definitely need to add that to my list. I need to
I
go.
Yeah, I went to when the Nationals won the National League Championship Series when they won the NLCS in 2019, which
Ooh.
I know you're talking about the Astros. That's who we beat in the World Series that year. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great series too, though. Like that
It
World
was,
Series
yeah,
was unbelievable. Like
yeah,
it was just you couldn't write a better story. Like that's why I say anything you can bet on probably has some level of being fixed. If you can bet on it, it probably has some kind of level of being fixed. Like they probably put so much marketing money into Shohei Ohtani and Aaron
oh
Judge
man,
this year. They had to have him in the World Series.
yes, yes. Oh my
But
God, yes,
That was. I
but
mean, this year I just knew that we were gonna be in the playoffs and we were gonna be going far. So I was like trying
mhm.
to save my tickets for that.
I'm an
But it
Astros
ended up.
fan. I am. That's why it was amazing to have them and the Nationals in there. Like I love Alex Bregman. Like I'm a big Alex Bregman guy.
yeah,
He's big on the brand that I like this to rep here, support this municipal brand. He's one of the guys, Alex Bregman. So
yes, sir.
um yeah, I'm a big Alex Bregman fan. So yeah.
Yeah.
I'm no shade on the Astros at all. I like the Astros. They're probably my second or third favorite team. So
Mhm.
Nice. You heard it here, folks.
yeah. You heard it here first. Yep. Yep.
Oh man, too funny. Go
So,
ahead.
when did you get the bite, the acting bug? For acting.
Great question. Not to go too far down a rabbit hole. I know we're on, we have there. You don't want to keep people on people's attention spans aren't super long these days. So I'll kind of give you a condensed version of it. Um, but there is a really long story behind it. It goes back to my pro wrestling stuff, but mostly, I had a period of my life from 2008 to 2015 where I drank like a freaking fish. I'm an alcoholic, so I have no qualms. I
Yeah,
admit that openly. I'm an open book about it. I had a really dark period with that. So it was kind of like, I did the pro wrestling stuff. There's definitely a tie in there. You got your Rocks, you got your Cenas, you got Batista, who's I think he's the best actor out of all of them that's gone transitioned over. But
yeah,
there's a parallel there, between it's basically theater. It's theater with acrobatics is pro wrestling essentially.
mhm,
So the connection there, but I felt like basically the bottom line is when I got sober, which I've been sober almost 10 years now, which I'm extremely proud of. Yeah, February 15th, 2025 will be 10 years.
congratulations.
That's
God willing, I
amazing.
will I will make that goal, his plans have me to continue to be here for then.
Yes,
um
sir.
yeah. Um so 10 years sober. So coming out of that, pro wrestling was a big thing that led to that. I'm not going to lie. There were other factors involved, but I fell into the partying, the lifestyle, the rock star lifestyle, and everything that came along with being a pro wrestler, going out after shows, hanging out, with the at the bars, the girls, all that, that crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I fell into that 2008, 2000 to 2015. I don't have much memory of it. Like it's a haze. It was an alcoholic haze.
Mm,
So, but anyway, from the wrestling stuff, I always felt like there was creative. There's a creative part of me that is burning inside me all the time. So
mm,
I felt like I had stuff left to give. And acting is one of those professions where you can do it at any age. I'm not a super spring chicken anymore, but I still have some youth left to me. I definitely feel younger than I actually am, so
there you
that's a
go.
good thing. Um, but yeah, you can get into acting at any age, and I was like, this is a natural transition thing. I've got this creative, this yearning inside of me, this burning desire to do creative stuff, and my whole goal when I first got into acting was just to do something in acting that kind of like shut the door on that past pro wrestling stuff because it's
Mhm.
not. I'm proud of what I did in pro wrestling, a lot of it, some stuff which I'm sure you have questions about too, which we'll get into. But I'm proud of that stuff, and I don't want to downplay it too much. But there's a lot of
Mhm.
negativity and bad memories that are associated with it too. So in sobriety, I wanted to have good memories to
Mhm.
associate with. So I figured I could do that through acting, if nothing else. And I've had the bug since I started in 2019. So a few years into my sobriety, I was like, I can. Fortunately, the business has gone pretty much all virtual, so you can do self tape. So I can tape here in my house in the woods in Maryland for a
Mhm.
for a huge show. For these huge shows, it's kind of crazy to think about. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's the 2019 is when I caught the bug. To give you a to turn take it all back is when I started about 5 years now.
Gotcha.
No, that makes sense, and I mean, it was like a fresh new start for you, it's
It
new
was, yeah.
direction and, you were taking different steps in your life, and so it definitely was, like a new chapter, a new book for you.
It is. Yep. And I wanted entertainment
Hmm.
and, like I said, a creative outlet to be a part of that. I didn't want to
Mm,
go back to wrestling because number one, I don't want to beat my back up and my body up anymore. I'm not, and
Whew.
like I said, I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm probably already going to have back surgery by the time I'm 50, so that's going to be lovely. But yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't want it to be wrestling. I did get to do a final match in pro wrestling, which was pretty cool. So I got to do that. I got to really close the door on that back in 2015, like right after 6 months after I got sober, I got to do a last pro wrestling match. So that was over. But I was
Mm,
like, you know what? I've got all this juice, creative juice left in me. I got to use it for something,
yeah.
and acting was the natural thing to turn to. And grateful, luckily I've been able to do some things that I would consider personally, you know, leagues above anything that I did in wrestling, which is amazing. And so,
Yeah.
but fresh start, like you said. So it's all good memories associated with it now and good times. So
yes,
That's what I'm
yes.
talking about, man. And that,
Yep.
you know what? It's man, that was one of my loves as well too, like wrestling. And like you said, the Stone Colds, the Cena's and everyone else. And it kind of is like, theater. You gotta, pan to the crowd, tell a story, and
Telling the
with
story. Yep.
tell a story with the crowd and everything, and feel the
Yep.
emotions of the crowd and everything, and that's kind of like where I learned a thing or two with acting as well too, just by watching you guys and others. So thank you, and thank you for sharing
Oh,
just of sobriety
hey,
there
man.
too. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, it's yeah, pro wrestling is I still watch it every once in a while.
Mhm.
You know, I'm always going to be a fan. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. You know, I started with the Hogans and Warriors and Macho Man and stuff like that. So
yeah,
Hulk Hogan was my first hero. So to be able to wrestle for the WWE at one point, you know, that was a yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
man.
used to be able to do that, but I'm a lot leaner now. I was never as big as Hulk Hogan. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
But
man.
yeah, I used to have some large muscles going there,
Yeah.
but
Oh man,
yeah,
I know so many backstage stories, and in the ring stories that you have. We got to get you come back on again for like I don't know, maybe for like a wrestling show or something, and just
strictly
have
wrestling stories.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
yeah,
have tons of them. I've got tons of them for sure. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, we would love to have you come back on just to talk about that as well too. But also
I will do that if the stars align. We can set that up because I'm gonna write a book one of these days. I really am because I've got a
yes,
lot of crazy stories, man. I've got some crazy stories. So
I mean,
oh
that's
man,
a great idea. That's a
yeah,
really great idea.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I've got ghostwriters hitting me up all the time to try to hey, we'll write for you, and obviously that costs whatever they want to charge, but
Yeah.
that all I would have to do is sit here and talk like I'm talking to you guys and tell my
yeah,
story, and they would write everything for me. So it's tempting, but I'm sure I'll get there eventually. I'm still
yeah.
busy creating all the stories right now, though.
On the
All the
screen,
stories
and
for the book.
yes,
I know
sir.
that's right. I know
And
that's right.
Yeah, man, and I know, and real quick, and we'll get into other questions. And like it was funny too, 'cause, like I was getting ready to get into wrestling, but I was doing boxing and I was going to do wrestling both at the same time to learn and train because for acting purposes. And the boxing coach or manager, he said because it
Yeah.
was a boxing gym and a wrestling gym within one area, and the people train there. Where
Really?
yeah, it was here in Houston, but
Combined. Hmm.
it's not there anymore. They recently left that area, and it's funny when people have their whole thing about wrestling. Of course, we are fans, we love it. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
when I told the boxing coach that, he was like, "Oh, you gonna do wrestling too?" And I said, "Yeah, I want to try it." He said, "Now I'm a boxer." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Now that wrestling, that's the real shit, right?"
Yeah, hey, he's not wrong, man. Like I said, my back would beg to differ everybody that says that it's as fake as it or what fake, that they love to use fake or whatever, make
Yeah,
believe it. My back would beg to differ that, man. I thought you were gonna say he was like, okay, we really hit each other over here. Over there, they don't really
yeah,
hit each
no, dude,
other.
dude, he was
That's the
like,
pretend stuff.
yeah, dude, no, he was like, he said, "Oh, that," he said, "You know what? You can have that. That's the real right." He said, "No, you can have." So that right
Go
there,
take a bump in the ring one time.
yeah, I'm telling you, dude. Oh my gosh,
Knock
man.
the wind out of you, crack your back in 5 different places.
Whew, I'm telling you,
So,
it is
like,
different.
have you had anything broken or like what was? I mean, like the injuries. Do you have from
I
wrestling?
don't have any crazy injury stories really. I was very fortunate there. I think I got my head split open once from a freaking steel chair.
Mm,
They show you everybody puts their hand up. I wanted to be the cool guy that didn't put my hand up, and he whacked me with it, and it split me open on the top of my head. So I
Wow.
got that. I busted a couple teeth on a getting thrown into a ring post. Guy
dang,
wrapped a chair around my head and tossed it. This was a good friend of mine too. We had a heated. That's how it usually works in
right?
wrestling. Your best friends, you
Yeah,
allow them to do the crazier stuff for you to
you
you.
trust him.
They put a chair around my head and whipped me into the ring post, and the thing on the chair came back and smacked me in the teeth, knocked a couple teeth, chipped couple teeth out. So I had to cut a couple tooth related things, and then jammed my knees, stuff like that. But nothing, no like super broken, stuff that kept me out for a long time or anything like that. I was pretty
Yeah.
fortunate
So
there.
like when the tooth thing happened, was you like, "Hey friend, you gonna have to come with me to the dentist because I need to get this taken care of." Like, did he
I
help
had
you?
well, luckily I had health insurance through the employer that I had at the time and dental insurance, so I got that taken care of. But
Okay.
my your adrenaline's flowing when you're out there, so I couldn't even really tell until I got to the back and was like, "Oh, there's chips in my teeth over here."
Oh
Yeah,
man.
this there's teeth missing. So yeah,
Y'all
Oh
hear it here
yeah.
straight from Mr. Fowler that it's not fake. It's real.
No, no, you can get seriously injured and hurt if you're putting your life in somebody else's hands, essentially.
Mhm.
Anytime somebody picks you up off the ground, you could land on your neck, you could land bad on your back, you break your leg, anything could happen. So this
Yeah.
stuff these guys are doing is extremely dangerous and you have to be trained thoroughly to do it.
yeah.
So
Yeah. We definitely have
Makes
to come
sense.
back on to tell some wrestling stories, man.
I don't want to give too much to shine on
Yeah.
wrestling because
Yeah.
it's
Not too much. Not too much. Not too much.
it let me down a bunch of bad places too, but
Right. Of
Yeah.
course.
I'm also I'm not gonna pretend like it wasn't a big part of my history either. So,
Of course. Of course. So now let's talk about this real quick. Now you're a nutritionist as well too.
well, my yeah, primarily is outside of acting and stuff. My most of my professional career has been centered around fitness and nutrition and wellness and all that stuff. So yeah, I dabble in that stuff, but my
Mhm.
heart's really in the acting stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you what protein bar tastes the best if you want stuff like that. Yeah, I can give you the best protein bars in the business. That's why I call myself the protein bar connoisseur because I kind of
Mm.
everybody turns to me for protein bars for some reason. It's not nothing else really, just protein bars. But I can tell you which ones have the worst aftertaste and which ones go down the best and all that stuff. So
Like
Mm.
I'm your protein bar guy.
the
Yeah, I
protein
know
bar
my
guy.
son. He eats the Gatorade cookies and cream bar.
Yeah,
He's
those are probably pretty those are pretty, oh, he's young, right? So
yeah.
he's yeah, that's probably okay because those are loaded with sugar and stuff, so I tend to lean towards the ones that are lower in carbs, but yeah, he can handle all that stuff if he's good, but the ones that are loaded with sugar and stuff like that, I usually tell people to kind of avoid, but if
Yeah.
you're young and sprightly, it ain't gonna hurt you to do that kinda stuff. Probably got a lot of protein in it, 20, 30 grams, I'm sure, with the Gatorade bars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That, that sounds
Yeah.
about right. Yeah. So go ahead, Shay.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of the projects that you were on. You were on Army of Dead. Can we get into a little bit of the experience that you had on set there?
Yeah, so that was, like, my first real big, gig getting on there. That was, I thought that was something different than what it was gonna be. I was really green back then, I didn't know a whole lot about it. I thought, they when I got the invite to do it, it was to be the core group of zombies for it.
Mm.
So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, great, yeah, I wanna be a zombie, I wanna do this," and it turned out to be just, the day I was there, it was me and, like, 19 other guys were doing a casino scene that actually never made the movie. It was hilarious, though. So, I don't know if
Ah.
it's in the special features or anything like that, but it had a bunch of male strippers. I don't know if they include that in the beginning because it was part of the beginning of the movie.
Yeah,
So,
it
it was
was
like
a
stripper zombies, male stripper zombies, and one of them had a gigantic penis, and it was, like, all mangled up and everything looking and, like I mean, it would've been hilarious if I don't they took that out for, I mean, it was, like, obviously prosthetic and just,
yeah,
mammoth, like 20 some inches kinda thing,
for
but
regular sheep.
if they would've kept that in the movie apparently Netflix made them take it out. But
Right.
anyway, that was the scene that I was there for, and I don't think it made the movie, but, um, yeah, I wasn't really guaranteed anything for that one other than I was told I was gonna be in the core group of zombies, so,
Mm.
um it was a good experience. Zack Snyder, it was really good, hands-on. He was, like, in there in the trenches with us showing us how to do what he wanted. So I always appreciate that in a director, not just sitting behind the monitor barking out commands, actually
Right.
getting in there and doing that. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun. I would say it was a good experience overall.
Yeah. So,
Gotcha,
like,
gotcha.
was it hard, like, when you went out there to, like, be the zombie and, like, what did you do to prepare for that part?
Well, nothing really. I got there and they showed me exactly. I had the pro wrestling background, so I'd kind of
Mm,
had an idea what I was gonna do. But I got
Mhm.
there and we were in makeup for 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. 3 to 6 hours. I don't even remember at this point. That was
mm.
2019, like literally like 6 months into after I started. Um,
Wow.
but they showed us. They had a guy, a stunt coordinator, kind of
Mm.
showing us exactly what he wanted each of us to do and the positioning that we were in and stuff. So, like I said, that scene that other than I don't think it even made. They might have shown clips of the stripper zombies, but they definitely didn't show the part. The
That part right there.
And probably
main
was like,
event.
"Now come on, we're gonna have to take that out, take that
Yeah,
out."
definitely put the kibosh on that real quick.
Yeah, probably about the extra behind the scenes footage right there.
It's like, "The
Yeah, it
movie's
might be on
great,
the
but there's
DVD.
just this one part."
Yeah. Yeah. There's just one questionable part. I don't know if we're gonna be able to include that. It was
Oh
interesting to
man.
watch though, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah, like because you just never know, and that's funny because you just don't know what else goes on behind the scenes, what makes the cut and everything else, and then stories like that, you're like, wait, what? They had that? When did
That was in
they?
there? Yeah, did.
Like, I
Yeah,
can see
Yeah,
that.
he
like
definitely wanted to have it in there, I'm sure, but they gave it the ultimate. I don't know if it ever has an unrated edition, they probably will throw it in there or a director's cut.
yeah, director's
I'm
cut.
sure they would
Yeah,
throw it in. They definitely have the footage.
yeah, I'm
So,
pretty. Yeah. Oh my god, that is too hilarious. So like we said, in the spirit of Halloween, we're already talking about Army of the Dead and everything. There was recently a was it a film festival at the Brooklyn Horror Fest? The
yeah, this past Monday. Yep.
Yeah, how did that go? It was. I want to get the film correct. It was called Black Eyed Susan. That's
Yep.
correct, right? How did
Yeah.
the premiere go and everything? And can you share a little bit about that film, or what could you share?
Yeah. Yeah, that was, That's it's definitely a horror movie. I think it leans more on the sci-fi, but it's kind of all in one. You can lump it together. But yeah, the festival was great. Like that was I done that. That was actually my first film festival, so it was great. I wanted to go to the one that it premiered at the Fantasia Festival, which is a huge festival up in Montreal. So I was trying to
Wow.
go to that. That was back at the end of July, but
Yeah.
that's when my kid was born and I had the Godfather of Harlem thing. It was like all
Ah.
again, everything
Mm,
all at once. Everything happens all at once. It's like that's
Yeah.
how it goes, especially in this business. Everything is all
Oh
at
my
once.
God.
All
Yes.
that. So something
yeah.
had to go, and I knew it was going to be playing at that in it was going to have a New York premiere, and that's closer anyway for me. So, but yeah, the festival was great. Everybody was fantastic. It was a lively audience. Everybody seemed to be into it. There were a lot of laughs. They were a lot of applauding, a lot of applauding. We had a Q and
Mhm.
A afterwards. It was really cool.
Mm.
Um, I am. I got to, I told them they probably shouldn't have put a live mic in my hand, but I think I was the only one that dropped some cursing during the Q&A, but it ended up going well. How do you
Yeah.
guys? How are you guys on this show with that kind of stuff? Does everybody kind of just do whatever they want and it's uncensored, or you try to
Uh,
keep it PG?
our editor is pretty good with blocking out some of the let's say
Beep it
what
out.
yeah. Well, we'll say
Yeah.
every now and then
No,
something will slip out,
something will slip.
like an F bomb here or whatever. Every now and then, but yeah, but yeah,
Yeah, all
some
bets were off in that one. They wanted that stuff. They're crazy group of folks up there for that horror festival. But yeah, no, the director. I sat next to the director for the screening, Scooter McCrae. He's probably my favorite director I've ever worked with. The guy's
oh wow.
awesome. He's a lunatic, but he's awesome. He loves when I call him that too. Like I called him that in the Q&A, and he's like soaking it up. He's like, yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
that's what
brilliant
we want.
lunatic, I like to say. Yeah, yeah. No, he's got a warped mind, man, but it's created some really crazy stuff that's got him a really big like cult
Mm,
following on the indie level. So he's
Right.
one of those cult favorite guys. So he's his first movie that he ever did was back in the '90s, and it's like people still talk about it, and they're like, he's got this huge fan club because of it today. Kind of wild.
Ah,
It's called Shattered It.
Mm.
So if you ever want to check it out, go check it out. He'll be happy that I gave it a plug on here.
Yeah.
Saturday.
So, but yeah, no, I sat next to him and he said that Brooklyn, he'd been to two or three other festivals and it got the best reaction out of all of them at that in the Brooklyn thing. So I was like, yeah, go ahead, Brooklyn. I love some Brooklyn and Queens and New York stuff. I love going up there and just hanging out and being around the folks and people up there. It's great.
Mm.
Man, something about New York, man. Something about it. Like
Yes, sir.
I actually plan on hopefully next couple weeks I can take a trip up there. I wanted to go see Robert Downey Jr. in this Broadway play, and plus I've been wanting to go back to New York ever since I left a couple years ago. So just
Oh,
a little bit.
Downey's doing a Broadway play now, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's doing it before. I guess I don't know how you know what his schedule is, but I guess he's doing it before the
Yeah.
whole Avengers thing. So, but yeah, I
The
was like, "Are
Doctor
you
Doom.
insane?" Yeah, I was like, you know a whole Broadway play before you? Okay, hey
I'm
man,
gonna get a see. That's the kind of I don't know. Yeah, yeah. That memorization for that, man.
oh
Memorizing a whole play, getting that down, rehearsing it all, and then oh yeah, I got to go play Doctor Doom for Marvel too. Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right,
Got that on my plate, but yeah, let me memorize a 200-page script,
yeah.
250, 300-page script for a play. Sure.
Like
I'm
oh
saying, I just finished with a play, and whenever I'm doing a play, I tend to not to do anything else so that I
oh
can really focus on the play because it's hard
Right.
to do anything else when you've obligated yourself to a play.
Whole new respect for that. Yeah, yeah. I have a whole new respect for people that do the theater and play stuff. So
yeah.
thanks for letting me know about that, Tashay.
Oh
That's great stuff.
oh
That's
dude.
good. Yeah, that because I know how much time and dedication you have to put into that. Like I have a nephew that, and I'll give him a shout out too. My nephew, he does a lot of local plays and stuff. He's actually been in a few episodes of Evil Lives Here on ID. His
Nice.
name's Randy Stull. So go check him out too. Check him out on IMDb if you want to look him up.
Okay.
But he's a big theater guy, and he's his dreams and aspirations are to go to Broadway and do
Mm.
that. So he's does a lot of leads around here in the Frederick area, and he's good. He's real good. He's probably a better actor than I am. So, like I said, I have a lot of respect for him for doing all that memorization. Man, I can't imagine. Like I'm good within a certain lane.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
stick me in my lane, I can knock it out of the park for you. But that doing the whole plays and stuff, man,
And
Yeah.
then it's
that's pretty
live.
wild.
So like, if you messed up, you got to just keep
And
rolling.
it's live, right? Yeah, exactly. What are you gonna do? Like, it's just pick it up and keep going. Yep,
Oh
pick it up,
man,
keep going.
dude. I
Improv
actually
over it.
yeah, straight up. I have some stories. Oh my god, I've done it once where I did a stage play and I had like one or two other projects outside of it. I wanted to strangle somebody.
Yeah, how did you juggle it all like that? It's got to be near impossible.
I guess because how the schedule was set up, and then thank God that the play that I was doing was like already insanity, and they were like pushing from one day to the other. I'm like, okay, good, thank you. But then there are some days when
Yeah.
we're there, and I'm like, why are we still here? We've done everything, So yeah, yeah, don't do it to yourself. I mean, just
Oh
you know,
man, yeah, yeah. No, I thought about dabbling in. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stick with film, TV, and commercial stuff.
yeah,
That's good. That's what
yeah.
my lane, and I'll stay in that.
There you go, man. Yes,
And
sir.
I mean, with all the rehearsals, you think, I remember this, there'll be like 30 rehearsals, for the play. So you go, okay, by this time, I'm gonna have this, oh, it's gonna be down packed, right? You
Not
get to the
quite
last 2 weeks and it's like rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal after rehearsal. You're like, hold on, wait, we
sweating,
haven't been doing this.
Insanity.
We
sweating it out.
we
Oh man,
let's do
like I
it.
said, total all respect and all the respect in the world out to you for that, for being able to do that. That's amazing.
Hmm.
The
Thank
amount
you.
of commitment and dedication it takes to do that, it's got to be insane. So
I
It
love
is.
both though. I love both sides of it. I just can't do both at the same time.
same time, yeah.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
like a Robert Downey Jr. Wild dude. And he probably, you know what? He's probably does it in like blink, like it's nothing too. Like it's second nature. Like, oh, you got a script here? Oh yeah. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
done. All right, let's get
Okay.
on.
All right. Now
Let's go to
this. All
set.
right.
What's this? Exterior? Yeah, we're shooting an exterior today. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Yeah. There you go.
I know, it's crazy. That's how we look at them seriously. Like we just know that they're just the best of the best.
Yeah.
And I never, and that's part of the thing with me. I never really, and I've told other interviews I've done. I told my wife this. I never had any desire to be the next, let's in this case, Downey Jr. or
Mm,
DiCaprio or De Niro or anything like that.
Mhm.
I just want to, like I said in the beginning, my whole goal with this was to create some memories in acting that kind of overshadowed what I did in pro wrestling. So,
right.
and I've
Yeah.
already done that. So really anything else is kind of icing on the cake at this point, which is kind of cool. It
Yeah.
allows me to go into stuff with a whole new level of freedom too. I'm like, okay, I don't have to do anything anymore. I don't feel like okay, I got to get this accomplishment or I can't move forward. Now I've got what I want. I'm satisfied. I'm never really satisfied. My wife will attest to that. But I'm at a point where I can just appreciate what
The
I've
art.
done, and
Yeah.
anything else is like I said, icing,
Yes.
cherry on top kind of stuff. So it's cool.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
like, do you when it comes to acting, do you feel like, do you, when it comes to the next level, sometimes how you feel like, I did what I wanted to do, and like, do you feel like the roles that are coming to you could change your perspective on that? On like,
Uh, yeah. Well, I like to say I'm pretty. I like to think that I'm pretty self-aware. I think that's one of my bigger strengths. So I kind of know what I'm capable of doing, and like I said, like going back to the whole staying in my own lane thing, staying in the lane. Um, I could go out on any set that you give me, any film set, TV set, commercial. You give me a page of dialogue, I'm gonna knock it out of the park with pretty much any role. I'm gonna
Yeah.
within reason. And I'm going to knock that out of the park. Outside of that, with time and practice, yeah, I would be good with that. I'm kind of, every like you said, I'm glad you asked that question because it's a really good one, and you hear a lot of people talking about that in interviews on Instagram and things like that. It's like, oh, when are you going to graduate from this level to doing this, to these
Mhm.
projects, to this? And I don't look at it that way. Like I look at it like, okay, no one project is big. No, well, number one, coming from the place that I did, which was a rock bottom of having 3 pennies and a ball lint in my pocket when I was drinking,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
to be able to do this at all, every single bit of it is a blessing, and no project is bigger than another. I mean,
yeah,
there's obviously production budgets, but like
Mhm.
everything that I get to do that I'm fortunate enough to do, I take that like it's the biggest thing I've ever done.
yeah,
That's the kind of emphasis that I put on it. So I don't look at it from going from a co-star to a guest star to a series regular and stuff like that. Whatever I'm
mhm,
fortunate enough to get, and they're fortunate that they trust in me to put me in front of a camera to do. That's amazing by me. And when I okay, kind of word salad here. Um, so the biggest thing I did in wrestling, right, was wrestling on WWE SmackDown. That's
Mhm.
a big show. Big, I wanted to do that, and I was a jobber on it. I went on there and basically just got paid to lose to a guy, make him look good.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
still, growing up a Hulk Hogan fan, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Being able to do something you grew up watching, it's a childhood dream kind of stuff. So getting to do that. But again, going back to wrestling, that has the negativity attached to it. So all
Right.
I wanted to do in acting was do something that I felt was bigger in my mind, in my heart, than
Yeah.
that, and I've been able to
mhm,
do that. So, in terms of looking for bigger stuff, if it came my way, sure, I'll do it. But I'm not pressed on it. I'm not trying, going out of my way to try to do that. And the stuff my manager sends me, my agent sends me, that's seems to be in line with exactly what I'm looking to do. I guess that's the
Mhm.
best way to put it. So
Yeah.
No,
I don't
I
know how
agree.
all over the place that was, or if
No,
that
no,
No,
answered
no,
your
that's cool.
question.
No,
Or,
it's
no, we completely understand because
yeah,
it's like when you start some things, like the way life takes you, you may get an opportunity that you wasn't really ready for, or you wasn't even really looking for, and it's just like, hold on, wait, is this for me?
yeah, yeah.
You
yeah,
Well,
know?
and I'll play those cards when they come along, if they come along.
Mhm.
And if they don't, I'm totally fine with that. Do I think a lot of people put undue pressure on themselves to
Yeah.
get to that next level. That it's like,
Mhm.
no, be. I always tell people to appreciate what you've done already. You've already
yeah,
done you've done this and this and this. You know how many people dream of just getting on a movie set or just a TV set? To be able to
Mhm.
go on there and have your face featured on a TV thing and maybe interact with a person that you watched growing up doing this
yeah,
stuff, that you can't take that stuff for granted. Why are you putting all this unnecessary
Mhm.
stress on yourself to, oh, I've
Yeah.
got to get this next. I got to get this next. I got to get, yeah, it would be great, but just enjoy the ride too, enjoy
Yeah.
the process.
yeah.
Exactly. Yes, yes. And that can be hard for some people to like just enjoy the process,
Yeah,
just to take a second and enjoy every bit of this process because it is a process, and just taking the time out to smell the flowers sometimes is hard.
Yeah,
mhm,
no, it totally is. And if you can do that, and if you can take a step back and do that and to just be satisfied. Like I said, I'm not really a good one to talk about that because my wife's like, "Hey, you're never satisfied." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I did Godfather of Harlem. I'm good now. I'm not gonna need to do anything else. I'm good if I never do anything else again." She's like, "Y- Next week you'll come up with something else that you want to do." I'm like, "Fair enough, probably." But that's
the
where,
wife
I still
knows.
have goals and stuff, but I'm not tied to them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Right.
I'm not tied to doing anything anymore. If I do anything else, fantastic, amazing. But if I
Yeah,
don't, I'm happy with what I've done. I'm at peace with what I've
yeah.
done. So
That's
I think it's
beautiful right
important to
there.
get yourself to that point.
Yeah,
It's important to get, if you can at all in any way, however you have to do it, if you can get yourself to be at peace with what you've done, you don't put as much unnecessary stress and undue pressure on yourself to do more.
Mhm.
Then
yeah.
again, we are all living in it's all instant gratification now. So it's
Mm,
like you want everything and you want it right now as soon as possible. So
yeah,
um
Mhm.
my advice to anybody out there is just to try, like you said, to try to enjoy the process and just be appreciative that you get the opportunity to get
mm,
in these rooms, get in front of these casting directors, get on these shows, regardless if it's one line or 100 lines. You're getting this recognition. You're on these shows that people are watching on their TV every
yeah.
week or their streaming, whatever. You know, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It really is when you stop to think about it, put it
Yeah.
in
I
perspective.
agree with you. I totally agree with you. And you said what needed to be said. Like, take time in the moment and, smell the flowers, man. Enjoy what you're doing because we're on a platform and it's like just for, like to say was saying, like this for me. Like, so, it's awesome. And, thank you for sharing that because, like, actors, a lot of people need to hear that. Like, all of
They
us
need to hear that.
need to
Yeah.
hear, yeah,
Mhm.
remind ourselves that while we go through 100,000 auditions throughout like lifespan. So, yeah, thank you for sharing that. We need to hear that.
Yeah, when I was in, one of the things that led me down the dark path in pro wrestling was, and I think some actors fall into this too. Um, so it needs to be or deserves to be said is,
Yeah.
I did have, of course, I was younger too. I was in my 20s and early 30s when I was in
Yeah,
pro wrestling. I had a huge ego. It was a lot about ego at that point and
Yeah.
satisfying the needs of the ego. Now it's more of just, being, like I said, kind of being at peace, but just appreciating what I
yeah,
have the ability to do now. You know,
Mhm.
I, for all intents and purposes, I shouldn't be sitting here doing this interview with you guys right now. But
mm,
when I hit my rock bottom in alcoholism, I was on the side of a road in a snowy mountain ditch, like freezing to death. Like I shouldn't be sitting
wow,
here doing this interview right now. So everything that I'm able to do right
Yeah.
now, um, I appreciate it with a whole new. Not that I wish anybody had to go through that, but if you've come from that and you get to go, you have a whole new appreciation for that kind of stuff. But anyway, I don't approach the stuff with ego anymore. I could easily allow whatever Godfather of Harlem, Black Eyed Susan, the success that it's having. I could allow that to go to my head, but part of that's age and wisdom, but another part of it is just stopping, smelling the roses, appreciating. God did this, not me.
Yeah,
He did this. He did this for me. He allowed me to do this. It was in
Mhm.
his will for me to do this. So
yeah,
not to get
yeah.
too, you know, I'm I'm
No,
No,
I'm a big
we
faith guy of
appreciate
faith.
you,
So I'm
Scott.
a big
yeah,
I'm big on my faith. I wouldn't be here without that. So
no.
No, we
We,
appreciate that because really, to be honest, the things that you're saying is gonna help somebody.
mm-hmm.
It's
that's
gonna
all
help
I ever
somebody.
wanted to do. That's
Yeah.
my main thing now in life, really. It's just I'll tell my story. I'll relive all the pain from it. I'll tell it if it helps one person, good.
You done what you do. Yeah.
I go around to churches sometimes. Obviously, like I said, almost 10 years sober now. I go around to churches and recovery groups and stuff. That's probably my biggest passion outside of acting is telling my story and just helping other people. So
Yes.
Yeah.
And
And
I
that's
mean,
still
good.
it
outside the
means
acting.
a lot to the community and to people. I mean, sometimes you don't have the courage to face things, but if you could hear someone who has went over that hump and has succeeded, and you can see them, and they're telling you how much of a struggle it was, but you see the end goal, you see them there, and they're still here and they're still pushing. That's sometimes all that you need to keep moving forward.
Yeah. No, I get people that send me because I'm open about the sobriety stuff on my Instagram and stuff too. So I'll get
Mm,
people DMing me and everything like, I'm still doing this stuff because of you're inspiring me to keep doing this stuff because I see what you're doing and how you talked about what you've gone through and everything. That was 8 years. I've been sober longer now than I was in active addiction, so that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Like I was in that for
mm.
about 8 years, drinking like a fish and all that, but I've been sober almost 10 now. So to be able to overcome that, and I mean, it was at a point, like I said, I had. You ever seen the movie Kids? Kids with,
So, yeah,
it was one of Chloe Sevigny and Rosario Dawson's first movies.
yeah.
It's a New York-based movie, probably one of the best indie movies I've ever seen. Very relevant. But it is one of my favorite lines is from that. He's like, "You have any money?" He's like, "3 pennies and a ball of lint, kid." That's really what I had in my pocket. He's like, "Yeah, man, three pennies and a ball of lint." That's really I always say that when that's what I came from. That's all I
Yeah.
had left. I was living out of my car, 3 pennies and a ball of lint, 2015, February 15th, 2015. And now here I am on getting ready to be on Godfather of Harlem. You can bounce back from this stuff and
Yeah.
do everything you've ever wanted to do and dreamed of if you stick the landing, stay the course,
Yes.
stick with it.
Yes.
Keep your faith. Keep your faith. Keep
Yes, sir.
faith heavily involved. Whatever
Amen.
that,
Mhm.
Alcoholics Anonymous works for some people. Narcotics Anonymous works for some people. Some people doesn't. Church worked for me. That's what
Yeah.
worked for me.
Yeah.
My faith in God, it worked for me. So
The more you
I
talk, the
just
more
came
you
from
sin.
a. Go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a men's group, men's accountability group called the Water Boys for Jesus. I have to give them a shout out too. Water
Yeah.
Boys
Yeah.
for Jesus that meets every Saturday morning. That I run a 10-man table. It's called a 10-man table. It's a men's accountability group every Saturday morning at 8. So that's where I was this morning. That's why I was like, I don't think I'll make it in time for our originally scheduled time. So we
Yeah.
got out a little early, but that's what I do every Saturday. That's part of the process that I have in place to keep myself from
Man. Yeah.
beating
That's
myself.
pretty cool. That's really dope.
Yeah, it is. And what I was about to say is that the more you keep talking and saying that, you think about writing a book, I think you might. Yeah,
I
Scott.
got the
You
stories for it, man. I'm
definitely should
telling you.
write this.
Yeah, yeah, no
Yeah.
doubt.
And
Yeah.
and real quick, it's cool that you just said you have a men's group. I recently, a couple months ago, I was trying to get that started, but I had to put a halt on it because my schedule and work schedule and everything. So that right there just gave me, the research right there. What I was doing is the right thing. Is talking to other men about what they go through and everything, and try to be that shoulder to lean on. I don't have all the answers to everything. But it's great that you do that and you're helping others out there.
Man, this is a nationwide thing. If you want to look it up, it's called the Water Boys for Jesus. I think the website's like waterboysforjesus.org or
Yeah.
something. There's 10-man tables all over. There's probably one near where you are. It's one of those things where you go and type in your zip code and it'll tell you what tables are around you, the 10-man tables. So, and if there's
That's
not one, you can always
cool.
start one.
Yeah,
Just saying.
like I
We
have
don't
been.
have to get too
Yeah,
deep
gotta
into
get back to
that.
it. Yeah,
No, that's really dope. I mean, and to be honest, that's what's needed in our community. We have to help each other out. Sometimes we have an answer for someone else, or we have, that push for someone else. But if we don't share, then they never get the help that they need.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
As
you
they say,
got that.
sharing
You
is
nailed
caring.
that. It
Yeah.
is, yeah, and just inspiring hope, being able to tell people that
Yeah.
what you overcame and stuff, and just showing them that it's
Mhm.
possible to do this stuff.
Yes, sir. We all got a story to
I'm
tell.
possible, not impossible. I'm possible, right?
I am possible.
Yeah.
I am we definitely all have a story to tell, man. Man, and following up, I know like we've been dancing around it for quite some time. We kept talking about it.
Hmm.
You've done the Godfather Harlem. I
Yes.
mean, and not just that, but you've done other things as well on the All Black Channel, Hush,
Yeah.
BMF documentary, commercials, film festivals. But like we said, we've been dancing around it. Godfather Harlem. Let's unpack this. Let's talk about this. Your
So
experience.
yeah, that my manager sent me the audition. It's one of those that was on the site that only managers and agents can get to.
Yes.
You're familiar. You're an actor too, right? You're both actors, but
Yeah.
job you're on like Actors Access and stuff like
Right.
that too, and everything, right? So it's
Right.
on the secret database that only agents and managers can get to. So that's
Yeah.
where that came from. It was on there. He submitted me for it. I don't know if I can say too much about it, like the character.
Share what you can. I want the big
Yeah,
trouble.
yeah, yeah. So, well, let's just say I was in a scene with Forrest Whitaker
Yeah.
and Rome Flynn, the guy playing Frank Lucas
Frank Lucas.
this upcoming
Yeah.
season. So the
Yeah.
two guys, it
Yeah.
was the three of us in the scene. I know, I'm pretty sure I could say that. But yeah,
There we go.
it was the three of us, and it's an intense scene, and this is the greatest thing I've ever been a part of. Like anything
Mhm.
I ever did in pro wrestling, that put that to dust right there.
Yeah.
So that was I'd done other stuff that was before that, but that was really the ice. That was the thing that unquestionably
Yeah.
topped everything I did there. But anyway, um,
Yeah.
yeah. So I got the audition. It all came together. Actually, that one didn't come. This business, and I was talking to my wife about this the other day. There's no rhyme or reason for anything in this business. One
Mm.
production can be completely. There's some similarities, but like
Right.
everything operates differently. No two things are the same as far as casting goes and all that. You could for a co-star role, for example, you could do the audition on a Monday. They could hit you up on a Tuesday to be on set on Wednesday. That kind
Yes.
it can be boom, 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 just like that. But this one, I was lucky. I had some time. I did
Yeah.
have some time. I did the audition at like the end of June.
hmm
I think I did the end of the audition at the end of June. Turned it
hmm
in. You know, you know about this too, I'm sure.
hmm
You don't A lot of times, you just don't hear anything at all. You send it
Right.
off, it's like sending it off into an abyss, into a void. It's just kinda you do it and you forget about it, it's gone, Some of them, like, that one would have been really hard to let go of, obviously, I will say that, and some
Yeah.
of them are, definitely, there's no doubt about that, but I
Yeah.
sent it off, I got the email from my manager that they were interested, which is the first step, first step out of about 10 that you have to go through to actually get booked.
Mhm.
hmm
I got the email from him that, hey, things are looking good. They're interested. They're sending your tape to producers. From there, the producers have to watch it. They have to approve you. The
Yeah.
network has to watch it. They have to approve you. This is for a 5 to 10 line co-star role.
Yeah.
It has to go through all these hoops, man, just to get that. So if anybody tells you it's just a co-star or just
Man,
you gotta understand the amount of what it takes to get something like that. Like, it's a massive achievement if you get something like that. So
Mm.
I got that. Fortunately, I got through the whole process. The thing didn't shoot until July 31st, so I had almost a month to sit and ruminate on that. And in that period, guess what happened?
The baby.
Baby popped out.
The baby.
So I was in the hospital. I remember I got an audition in the hospital. I did an audition for Law and Order
Yeah.
in the hospital bathroom while I was in there getting ready. While my wife was giving another story for the book. Um, my wife was in. She had just gotten her whatever the shot is to put you into
Epidural?
labor. Yeah, she just gotten that to put you into, or no, not the epidural, the thing that stimulates the labor. I'm
Oh, okay. She
drawing a
was
blank right.
getting induced.
Induced. Yes, that's the word. Yeah, so she got induced and we were in the hospital and I did an audition in the hospital bathroom for Law and Order. I'll never forget that.
Man.
The actual the OG Law and Order show. Yeah, so I did that in the hospital bathroom. Obviously
Yeah.
didn't get that one, but that all goes back to that. But anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
so I had the baby coming out and I was like, I remember sitting there talking to her. I was like, I've got the biggest gig of my life coming up, and the baby's gonna be coming out, and and I felt like I was being pulled and yanked in all these different directions. I'm trying to focus on this. The baby's coming out. I'm like, the baby's gonna be screaming everywhere. I need to be able to be mentally focused for this. I'm just going nuts. And
Yeah.
but it all worked out. I prayed about it. I
Yeah.
put it all in God's hands, and every single bit of it worked out. That 2 days after I got out of the after we brought him home, I had to go to New York to do a fitting for it. I had to
Wow.
run up to New York to get fitted for my role, and then the
Yes.
shoot was the next week, so I had to take 2 separate trips up to New York. So, um, again, if you tell
Yeah.
them you can work as a local hire, you gotta be able to do that stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody, you tell them you work as a local hire, you're putting yourself in a position to be called and to be up
Yeah.
for a fitting because they let me know about the fitting the day after I got home from the hospital. Like I didn't know I was gonna have to go up for one. I
Yeah.
get home with the baby the next day. They're like, "Oh, hey, can you come up tomorrow to Brooklyn for a fitting for this?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I have to. I'm not gonna miss
Yeah.
this opportunity. So I
Yeah.
went up there. Baby's 2 days old. Went up to Brooklyn, got my fitting done. Came back, and then shot the next week for it. But everybody was dude, it's you hear about it all the time. The productions that are that big, that are on that level, they just flow so smooth.
Yeah.
It was my first time getting a honey wagon, so that was pretty cool. I got to really enjoy that, enjoy having my own trailer and everything, and I
Yeah.
got pictures. I got tons of pictures, man. So when the time's right, I'm gonna be dropping
Yeah.
all those all over Instagram. I got pictures of my name, my character's name up on the little star on the door, picture of the
Yeah.
selfie by the door, the door of the trailer and all that stuff, and it was just a magical day. I've told my wife that's probably between the baby and that was probably the 2 best weeks, or at least my favorite weeks of my life so far. It was incredible. So,
Beautiful story.
what questions do
Yes.
you have about it? Do you have any questions about how the sets run or how people are or anything like that? Or
And
I'll
and
answer what I can.
yeah, that's the part right there. And also let us know whenever it does drop, so we can, of course, keep promoting as well. And well, I know
Yes.
it'll
Yeah,
come
it's
back and we'll
season
promote
4
this.
is I think it's done. It's done filming
Okay,
now, so um I would expect it to drop in January probably. It'll
gotcha.
probably they'll start putting, whatever will come out on MGM and Hulu. I think it
Yeah,
airs on MGM and then it goes to Hulu after that or whatever, the
gotcha,
next day or whatever. But I
Mhm.
gotcha.
think January, and I'm in episode 8. So we'll have to wait a little bit for
Yeah, build
episode
that.
to come on, but yeah,
Yeah.
build
That,
it
that's
up.
yeah, that's what we do. We build the story up to the intensity,
Hey man,
and
come
then
on. Yeah,
we
you got
go.
to build up to the mega star Scott Fowler. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
Totally
Hey,
joking. I
It's
told you
got
I
to
didn't have an
speak
ego
you.
anymore. I was glossing that over. But no,
yeah,
yeah, it's a really cool spot in the show too. I'll say that. It's a really cool the show's got that incredible, probably the best opening the title card sequence, the opening
Yes.
title card sequence for that show is incredible.
Oh
And it's
man.
like right, I'll just say it's right around that. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
gonna be. I
Getting
got the whole
goosebumps.
soundtrack downloaded. I've been listening to it ever since,
Oh,
man.
I was listening to it before you got on. Like I got goosebumps just sitting
Dude,
there listening to
I'm a
it.
massive Swizz Beats fan, so as soon as I knew that I was on that, I was like, "Oh, I hope he creates something specifically for that scene, man. Never gonna stop listening to it."
Oh my, did I hear you say you're a Swiss Beats fan?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I love some Swiss Beats, man. I go back to when he did the what's my one of my favorite songs with him. I mean, I like some of the mixtapes he did
Yeah.
with the
with
Rough
Preach.
Riders?
Who was that with? Lil Wayne, his song he did with Lil Wayne and
Mm.
was it David Banner that he did with Preach? The song called Preach. You ever heard that one?
Mm.
You
But
know,
yeah,
I think the first time I got introduced to Swiss Beats was when he hopped on the Rough Riders, I think Volume 4 or something like that with
he's out
Jay-Z.
of the Rough
Mm.
Riders, right? Yeah, yeah.
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 So that's kind of where I got introduced to him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a big hip hop guy. I go deep back into the hip hop days too. I've always that's what I listen to the most in the car and everything. But I like Uproar too. That's the one I was thinking of.
Oh,
Uproar
Uproar goes,
was Beats
yeah.
another one.
Oh yes. Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, One Man Band Man was the album. Money in the Bank. Yeah, I like
Yes.
that. Money in the
Oh,
Bank.
okay.
Yeah. You
Yep.
turned
And You Know Your
I
Boy
know.
Did That. That's one of my favorites by him. That's
yeah.
the one I couldn't think of. You Know
Yeah.
Your Boy
Mm,
Did That. Money in the Bank and
yes,
Uproar.
Yeah.
Yep.
yes.
Anything with Swizz, you already know it's bangers,
His
and that's
beats are unmatched, man. Oh,
yeah.
I mean, beats is in his name. You kind of got
This
to
is
deliver when you
hey.
got beats in your name, man.
Yeah. Right.
You're right about that.
Oh man. So man, and I know it's like I said, we in the future we definitely have you come back on again and everything, man, and share more stories of it's like you say you have many of them, and I know it was more stories of
I know
when
we've been talking for an hour. We barely scratched the surface, man.
yeah, definitely gonna need a part two with Scott,
Part
man.
two, yeah, we'll do that.
Definitely,
We'll do that.
definitely
It's
part
been
two,
great.
man. And thank you again as well, dude. So you've been dropping a lot of gems, a lot of knowledge, and we thank you for it. But what's
Yes.
something else that that you have learned over the years that you can share with others, help them out? Doesn't matter if it's acting, life, or whatever. What's a gem that you can share?
I'd say specifically with acting, um, instincts will take you to the places that you need to go as far as auditions go, and getting into a good class that teaches. Like I can recommend Greg Sims. The guy's name's Greg Sims. I don't know if you've heard of him. Power Audition Technique Honing is what it's called. You look him up on Instagram. He does probably the best audition technique I've ever seen. He does this improv surfing kind of thing where you just kind of close your eyes and put yourself in it. Anyway, but yeah, following your instincts from there, it will take you to the places you need to go, and just trusting yourself to find the similarities in yourself and the characters that you're trying to portray. Um,
Mhm.
that's the luckily a lot of the auditions, I get cast for or I get auditions for a lot of cops, detectives, things like that. So and stuff like that for some reason comes second nature to me. I don't know. It's just kind of the disposition I have. But yeah, trust your instincts with acting. Find a good teacher that kind of follows that. Good, and Greg Sims is a good one for that. Um, but as far as life goes, a gym for life. You've got to have a belief in something that's bigger than yourself.
Mm,
So have a belief in something that's bigger than yourself. Put your, for me it's God. Put your faith in that. Allow that to take over and focus your efforts on being pleasing to that. And I found the most success by just letting go and let go and let God. That's one of my favorite sayings. Let go and let God.
Yeah.
So, if you put your faith in him, he's going to take you. Nothing that happens that is ever going to happen to you is outside of the design you've already been divinely appointed. So just trust that he's going to lead you to the places that you need to be when you need to be there.
Yes,
His
sir.
timing, not mine.
Amen. Like I said, we definitely got to get you come in here again on a part two. Man, just having a great conversation with you. So thank you for sharing
Yeah,
that,
you
being
guys have been
transparent.
awesome to talk to. I've had a really good time here. Like I said, I want to do more of these, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys opening up your door, Corey, and breaking bread with me here a little bit
Yes,
today.
sir. Most definitely, man. Thank you again, dude. It's been an honor. It's been like I don't know if anybody gonna do a better promo than that, like I did earlier. But hey, you know,
You did it, man. You did that. You
yeah,
took it home right there. You
I
took the crown.
I had to bring it home, bro.
Yep.
Well, yes, sir, man. Well, ladies and
Fantastic.
gentlemen, oh, let everybody know where they can follow you at. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah, so my main platform is Instagram. It's at Scott Fowler Acts, ACTS, not actor. Scott Fowler Acts, at Scott Fowler Acts, and I'm on Twitter. I still call it Twitter. Same thing, Scott Fowler Acts. But those are really I've never really gotten into the TikTok stuff and
Mm,
Facebook. I mainly only use for like family stuff. So Instagram
nice.
and Twitter, you can find me on at Scott Fowler Acts. I do some stuff on Twitter, but mostly all on Instagram. That's where all the juicy jabroni free stuff is.
There you go. Yes, sir. Man, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Fowler, thank you again, brother.
Thank you.
Many blessings to you,
Thank
your
you
family.
guys. Appreciate you. All right.
Absolutely.